Welcome to this new webinar. I should rather call it a masterclass actually, because we are going to share our best practices, which we have proved, tested and with all our publishers. So today we have decided to focus on a particular aspect that we can use to improve our monetization. This webinar is dedicated to publishers, media publishers who want to improve their advertising revenue while protecting all the user experience. So let's get started. We will follow this agenda. I'll try to make it as short as possible so we keep some time for question and answers. Please use the question and answers during the webinar whenever you have a question. I'm just not looking at them, but we will answer them at the end. And if we don't have time, or if I don't have all the technical knowledge to give you a proper answer, I commit myself to come back to you in the next 48 hours with all the answers. So a quick glimpse at the market. What we are seeing here is a complex map of all the ad tech partners, which are in between the brand who buys traffic in order to create powerful campaigns and the consumer who is at the end, who is going to see the ad. Because this market is so complex, and because the technology used on the buy side, on the left of this screen, are so powerful, with Opti Digital, we are only focusing on helping the publisher, okay, to improve their advertising revenue with powerful technology. So in one slide, and I'm not going to be very long on that, I am the co-founder and CEO of Opti Digital. This company was started in 2018 with the commitment to help publishers. We are developing solutions, software, only for publishers. The one that you see the figures on the right side is Opti All-in-One, which is a powerful technology managing several levels and several aspects of the publisher monetization. We work with more than 220 media who use that technology, and this is how we can imagine and create very interesting technology which are answering a need. Opti Yield, which has been just released this year, which is a module to complement an existing ad stack that is creating and calculating in real time the best possible floor prices to increase the revenue. And eventually Opti Engage, which is a very innovative ad format, engaging with the end user, creating incremental revenue while also gathering some first-party data. Here are some references, and I will give you some examples during the presentation too. Okay, so let's do the math. Finally, what we aim at when we are on the publisher side is improving the revenue for 1,000 page views. The revenue for 1,000 page views is what we call the page RPM. Basically, it's a question of quantity, the number of ad placements per page, the fill rate of these ad placements, how many did we manage to sell, and also what is the average CPM of each ad impression that we managed to sell. Of course, when we look at the volume and the quantity, if we add up some ad refresh technology, we are going to refresh the ads within the same ad unit, and this is going to increase the volume of ads. On the contrary, if we use lazy loading, meaning that if we wait to load the ads only when the user are going to see them, we are going to destroy a part of your inventory, which was not visible in the beginning. Sorry. And this is going to create less ads impressions per page. So the ad layout and the monetizations are linked. Of course, if you have a very crowded layout, with a lot of ads, then your monetization is going to be better. But well, we cannot do that on the long term. So the concept of ad layout, when we talk about this, we could also talk about a page structure or a page template. We talk obviously about the quantity, the number of ads that are placed on the site, and also about where are those ads located, at the top, above the fold, below the fold. And why? Well, basically because, oops, sorry, my bad. Because they are very important for your monetization. I have this well. Okay, so the consequences of a bad layout. We say that if we put too many ads on a site, it's going to have a bad impact. So let's imagine first that now Google takes into account the user experience in their algorithm to actually rank your website in the search engine page results organically. If you have this experience as a user while you are browsing on a site, you are reading a paragraph, and suddenly some item which was above this paragraph is loading, then it's going to shift all the content down, which is very annoying because you were reading and you cannot keep reading. And this content shift is bad for your user experience. So your users may actually not come back. And it's also bad for your referencing on Google. So you have to make sure that you are keeping a good cumulative layout shift score, which is measured by the Core Web Vitals, to have a proper layout. Then another element which is important to take into account is all these intrusive ads. Here I'm talking about pop-ups, sliders that are affecting the user experience. They are also flagged by the Coalition for Better Ads. And actually, I have already seen some websites which have this message from Google Chrome saying, Google Chrome has blocked all the ads on that site because they were too intrusive. And do you want to unblock them? And basically nobody would do it. So you have to make sure that the ads that you are displaying are not too intrusive. And also, the more ads you have on a page, the more you are going to cause a page latency. All these ad calls that are done, they are going to slow down your page, and this is measured by the page speed. It's also measured by one of the Core Web Vitals scores, which is called the largest contentful paint. So you have to try to limit the page latency. And this is going to improve your SEO ranking. If you take care of these elements, it's going to protect your audience, because without a good audience, there is no possible increase of revenue. So how to improve your layout in 5 steps. Some do's and don'ts about the placements. When I prepared this webinar with my colleagues, we were focusing on open auctions, meaning they are paid by CPM. Of course, if you are using Google AdSense, most of the campaigns in Google AdSense are paid on a CPC basis. So my recommendations here are for programmatic advertising mainly. For example, if you have some ad placements which are at the top of your screen on mobile, but which are not sticky, they are going to be scrolled very fast. So the viewability will be low, the fill rate will be low, the eCPM will be low. Of course, if you're using AdSense, you may have some unwanted clicks, which may have a high CTR and then a better profitability. But it may be counterintuitive, but this top placement, not sticky, unprogrammatic, it's a bad placement. Samely, we cannot expect to have users scrolling until your footer. If you put an ad which is just above your footer, it will probably have a very low viewability, so you'd rather not integrate it. Now, do's. A very good ad placement is actually within the editorial content or within your content where the user attention is. Another one which is very good is at the bottom of an article, because basically your users are trying to find something else to do. They have finished reading. So whether they are going to share this article with some friends, or what are the related articles, which usually are displayed at the bottom of the articles. So here users are trying to find something to do, and the CTR of this ad placement is good. And the CTR has an impact, of course, on the average CPM, okay, and on the fill rate. And finally, we just said before that pop-ups should not be implemented, but some interstitials, just like the ones that have been released by Google Ad Manager and Google AdSense about 1 year ago, are respecting the Coalition for Better Ads, because they are displayed on a user click from one page to another. So they are triggered by a user action, plus they have a big close button, which makes a way out possible for the end users. So we recommend to implement this type of formats, because in the end, they are not going to be generated all the time, only when there is a navigation from one page to another, and they are very profitable. Now, let's talk about something important. You cannot imagine just one single page template or one single layout for all your site, obviously. First of all, you should think that you have to prepare a specific layout depending on each page template. Here I'm talking about page template because, for example, you would have one for the home page, one for the article page, one for a listing of elements, one for product sheet. All these page templates need a specific layout because the browsing behavior is going to be different. So it's very important that you make sure that you have the capacity technically to have a separate layout for each page template. Then you must make sure that you have responsive advertising tags and that you can place these ads in a different location, whether you are on a mobile screen or on a desktop. For instance, you may want to place an ad just at the fold on mobile, because this is where viewability will be the best and CTR as well, while on a desktop, you may want to have this placement not at the fold after the first paragraph of the article, but maybe above the picture, which would be a billboard. So make sure that you have responsive tags and that you adapt your layout according to the device. Now, also, it's important to make a difference between your users. Some of your users may be very loyal to your media brand. Some of them may be registered users. And it's important to give something back to your registered users to thank them for their loyalty. So, for example, what we do in Opti Digital is that we adapt the advertising density to the type of user. If the user is registered, we are going to impact them less because they stay longer on the site and because we want to protect their user experience. Same-wise, we could have something which is different in terms of UX for very loyal customers who are coming back very often to your website. And on the contrary, impact more some users who are just discovering the site and bouncing back. And also, finally, of course, your layout must be defined according to your revenue strategy. Some websites which are very strong on one vertical, automotive, tech, travel, may pull some revenue from affiliation, and that may prove to be very profitable. So in such case, in some ad pages, in some page templates, we may give the priority to these affiliation links at the top, and then complement with programmatic advertising below. So the page templates should take into account these elements, these items on the site which are bringing revenue from programmatic. So this is a very good transition to what we do in terms of integration. Ideally, the best is to use a technology which is going to distribute the ads in an harmonious way along the content and around the sites, around the elements. Such a technology of automatic ad insertion or dynamic ad placement is offered by technology like AdSense, for instance. It's also offered by some companies like Opti Digital. It gives some benefits. You are going to basically define from the beginning a distance between the ads in pixels, whatever the elements on the site. And also, you may set up a distance with other items. We just talked about some items which may be affiliation link, but it could be also that you have some video player and you don't want the ads to be very close to these elements. So all these rules of defining, I want to have some space between two ads and I want to have some distance between an ad and an element, everything like this is defined. And also the very cool thing about this stuff is that everything is testable. So you don't have to define one layout at first because we don't know what's going to be the best page template for your users. Every site is different, every audience is different. So what's important is that we actually make sure that all these parameters of distancing are completely flexible and that we can do tests and see what is the impact on the test group of changing these parameters to make sure that we find the optimal layout. And one thing which is important, if you don't do it in an automated way, you are likely to be doing it by applying some rules, such as place an ad just above an H2 subtitle, H2 tag. And so you are going to plan your layout for the usual article length or the usual content length. But at some point, you may have some articles that are longer or some pages that do not use this H2 tag, sorry. And you would be forgetting this potential ad placement. By having an automatic ad insertion tool, you are going to identify all the potential ad placements. You are not going to miss any ad opportunity. And even if the article is very long, you are going to distribute ads little by little along the article. One thing which is important, here we're not talking too much about the layout, but more about the user experience. When you load the ads along the site, and here I'm talking more about mobile device, mobile browsing, because this is what is the most important share today. You should lazy load the ads. First of all, if you lazy load all your ads, you are going to lower the page speed. I mean, it's going to be faster because you are going to protect your largest content full paint score, I'm going to say it. And also, it's going to have a positive impact on the quality of these ads because you are going to improve the viewability. And every ad which is going to wait until it's displayed to a user is going to be viewed. You are going to have a better fill rate, more competition against the several bidders implemented in header bidding. It's going to increase your eCPM. Now, I'm going to talk still about the loading. I will do a little poll now. It's your turn to participate. I will release it now. Let's talk about header bidding. So you should see the poll appear on your screen. And I want to ask you something. What header bidding configuration do you currently use? So I leave you some time to participate. There is no good or bad answer. It's just that I want to talk to you about something, and it's a good introduction. Okay, I will end the poll now. 3, 2, 1, stop, and I share the results with you. So most of you are using client-side header bidding, but still a good share, 1/3 of the participants today are using server-side header bidding. So let me talk about that now. Because client-side header bidding may cause some latency, what we are doing now at Opti Digital is slowly shifting to server-side header bidding. We cannot do it for all the bidders because we still have some demand partners that are not compatible with server-side header bidding. Plus, there are still some third-party cookies in Chrome, so we take advantage of them until they disappear. But obviously, if you use header bidding server-side on your above the fold placements, you are going to improve the page speed. And you are going to increase also the speed of loading for all these ads that are at the top of your site. And if you increase their loading speed, you improve their viewability, you improve the user experience, and everybody wins. So it's an important topic to start thinking at in order to improve your layout and your user experience. Now, let's talk about design. We talked about where the ads are placed, but we should also talk about how the ads are displayed. They should be nice. We should try to have them included in your website design. In this example, which is a Futura website, a science magazine, we can see that the users have the choice to select dark mode or clear mode. So we must adapt all our native ads to make sure that we do not display a big white native ad on a dark mode. Same wise, here on Futura, you may see that you have 5 different universe: science, health, tech, house, planet. Every universe has a different color code, a different graphic chart. So for this particular publisher, we actually created native styles, which are very well integrated into each universe. So end users are going to be more likely to click on these ads, thinking that it's part of the content, plus the user experience is much better. And one thing to remind you, if you do not create native styles and you do not link them to the proper line items on Google Ad Manager, you are not going to benefit from the native demand from Google Ad Exchange. So it's very important that you start styling your native ads if it's not done yet. Now, as I said, there is not just one good layout. We gave you here some good practices, but the most important for you is to be able to have a proper reporting to analyze your results per page template, per device, and to be able to see how many ads are displayed, what is the average viewability. So I'm going to show you, I will go out of those slides to present you our reporting. This reporting, basically, we have several views here that are prepared on the side. I am focusing on the page RPM analysis. By having such a reporting, you may actually, I'm going to select, so this is real data, which is anonymized. I'm taking a gardening website here as an example. You may select a device, a consent type, and here what you see is that basically every day we measure what are the average number of impressions by page, which are the results of how many ad placements we have, how many of them are loaded because we use lazy load, how many of them are refreshed because we use refreshes. And you can see that on the 20th of November, here we make a change and we increase the number of impressions by page. So you can see that very clearly. And you can see the impact that it has on the page RPM, which is very interesting. Of course, you also have a little effect of the eCPM increase due to Black Friday. But more importantly, because this is a global view, it doesn't help us a lot. What is very important is that you prepare some reporting by page template like this. By using this kind of reports, you may see here we have created several page templates. And you see the number of ad placements that are likely to be called for each page template. They are not all called because in some pages the content is longer, so we are implementing more ads, and in some pages the content is shorter, so we have less ads. That's why you don't have an entire number on the right side. And then you can see the number of impressions by page as a result of those ad placements. Not all of them are loaded because we use lazy loading, but also some of them may be refreshed and we may have several. What's important here is that you make sure that the number of impressions by page that you have is a result of a choice. It's a result of your strategy. And if you have this kind of view, you can improve your layout, page template by page templates, device by device, to make sure that you are not forgetting any potential ad placement to improve your advertising revenue. I'm not going to show this to you, but we also have here the A/B test results that I was talking about. Now I'm going to come back to the slides because I still have a couple of things to tell you. Oops, sorry, my bad. I don't know if you see my full screen. Yes? Okay, perfect. No, you don't? I don't know how I can do it. Yeah, there we go. So I told you that I would show you some examples of layouts on Foro Coches, which is a big forum in Spanish. We have adapted the layout for registered users. They see less ads than the non-registered users. We protect the user experience. On Clubic, we implement an automatic ad insertion technology to place the ads according to the content length. Some articles may be very long and we may have more ads. So very quickly to sum up, choose impactful formats and placements. Adapt your layout as much as possible from one page to another per device, per user type, and according to your revenue strategy. Adjust the items load and your header bidding setup to make sure the ads are loaded fast. Customize your ads with the proper native styles matching your website look and feel. Make sure that you use a flexible tool to run A/B tests and to make sure that you can keep optimizing your revenue and your layout. And use a flexible ad insertion technology that is going to identify all the placements potential for ads, and that is going to let you make some tests and parameters changes. Okay, I did my best to keep some time for question and answers. So I am going to move out of this. All right, and open the chat. All right. Thank you for listening until then. All right, so do I have some questions? Okay, so Bartosz, you say that you are using both I suppose that you are using both header bidding client side and server side. It makes complete sense today in 2022 to do that, because some ad placements may be better to be done with server side technologies than client side. So we have one question. I'm going to read it for you. I'm not sure you can see it. You say that we could adapt advertising pressure to visitor. So do you mean it's possible to combine a paywall and ads? Yes. So it's definitely possible to adapt a paywall with ads. Some end users may actually pay to access, to be like a registered subscriber of your media and want to read your content. But actually, when you buy a newspaper, you accept that inside this newspaper that you bought, you have some ads. Of course, we have to give back something to the end user. If they have paid to see your content, we recommend highly to lower the ad density, to lower the number of ads that we display. But we should keep showing some ads to these users, because they are going to spend a long time on your site and they are going to come back very often. So not because it's a registered user, we should stop showing ads. I hope I answered this question. Do you guys have any other question? I cannot see anymore. At which visibility rate should we ask ourselves if the placement is good? Thank you, Valentin, for this question. Thank you, Maeva, for transferring it. So it depends if we are on desktop or on mobile. On desktop, I would say a good viewability rate would be more than 65%, 70%. On mobile, I would say that more than 55% is a pretty good viewability rate. There are a lot of tools to improve viewability. Actually, distributing the ads automatically on the page next to the content is a very good one. Making sure that you lazy load the ads is very important too. And using some advertising refresh, but in-view ad refresh is going to have a positive impact as well, because the ads are going to be refreshed within the same ad unit only when they are visible in the viewport, meaning that the second or third impression in that ad space is going to have a higher viewability even than the first one. And we can say something, we always have to check the viewability by SSP or by bidder, let's say, because in some cases, some bidders like, I can quote them, I think, like InVibes, they are using technology to actually expand the ad around the div, and such a technology makes it impossible for Google Ad Manager to properly measure the viewability. So the viewability for some bidders is going to appear very, very low, while actually overall the ad placement has a good viewability. And so you should always check by SSP. Is there any other, Maeva? Okay. Thank you very much for all to come to this meeting and to stay until the end. I hope you have learned interesting stuff. If you ever have other questions to me or to the rest of my team for more technical questions, you have here my contact details. Feel free to drop us an email or just to give us a call, and we will be very happy to answer you. And we will soon send some replays as well. So if you were disturbed during this webinar, then you will be able to follow it afterwards. Thank you. Have a lovely day ahead. Bye-bye.